Hi folks, welcome back. This is Dana with a nose, and this is the channel dedicated entirely to the more obscure, to the long forgotten, or forgotten, underrated, and brand new items in perfumery. So basically the stuff that nobody knows about. Okay? Today I decided to present a fragrance that is, in my opinion, underrated, mostly because this type of quality has not been replicated since this came out, and also because it opened the door for what we consider to be avant-garde, cool factor, conceptual, abstract perfumery, the way we understand it and enjoy it today. Without further ado, this is COMME DES GARCONS, COMME DES GARCONS. I have the bottle out because I reviewed it for the Romanian community. But I've been using it for a long time. This is my second bottle. This is the vintage version of it. I don't know if the packaging or the color or the nuances have changed at all. I stocked up back then, and this is the last of many bottles I've been through. And COMME DES GARCONS, also named L'Original. For those of you who are with a perfect French, please forgive my pronunciations of all kinds. I'm trying. This was created by Mark Buxton in 1994, and as I said, it opened the door for a lot of the more recent conceptual perfumes and fragrances. It doesn't really fit in the classical, pyramid structure of notes. It's not cyclical either, and this is one of those juices where the liquid actually shocks you at first. After the first fumes, it kind of fuses into your skin, after which it radiates. You're almost producing the perfume. It's also very weird in that all the ingredients are really strong, and they, kind of like a cat, adopt the wearer, and for each of us a different note might be the one that surfaces and keeps emanating, like I said, after it fuses with your skin. It's very interesting. So it's a perfume made for personalities, somebody was saying, and not necessarily for male or female or unisex. It doesn't have any labels don't really matter, as you know, but it is on the sharper side of things. I'm going to tell you a few things about the ingredients. It has pretty much every hot spice that you can think of. Not warm and not cold. Hot. It has clove, it has cinnamon, it has mace. I'm sure of it. It's not listed, but I can feel it. It has nutmeg. There's some cardamom. There are a bunch of peppers of different kinds. A couple of woods, some cedar wood. That's not necessarily very prevalent. A little bit of sandalwood, more for support. Couple of red flowers. There's a little bit of rose and a lot of geranium, which in its state is also a little bit spicy, kind of sharp, pungent if you want. Some incense, some honey, they say, and a couple of resins. I do feel a laudanum, but it's not the Mediterranean kind of dry, goldeny, resiny kind, and sweet and musky, rather a more deep molasses aromatic kind. I don't know, I haven't seen this type of execution for laudanum, even though I do collect it. So also it has styrax or benzoin. For those of you who don't know what benzoin is, it comes from some brushes. It's basically a resin, so you scratch the bark, something comes out, gets dry. It has been used for centuries and centuries with prevalence in the Middle East and also the Far East, Southeast Asia, because it has antibacterial properties. It smells really nice. It's thought to purify the air, and it's one of the ingredients in Armenian paper, badameni. If you know what Armenian papers are, you're probably familiar with the benzoic type of sweetish but a little bit terpenic scent. So this is about everything they declare. The total effect is extremely spicy. The last time I sniffed something similar, and I have it right there in the back, is Clyde Christian V. But unlike this one, V is not as well blended. It doesn't diffuse. It kind of projects more, but it stays away from the body. It's cold. It's completely different. This, my friends, is a genius contraption. I saw there are a lot of reviews for Man 2. I could tell you with absolute certainty that Man 2 kind of evolves in a different direction, in that it's more aromatic, it's more woody, it's a little bit sparkly if you want, whereas this, after the first blast that goes through your nose like a drill, like a hot drill, that's what it feels like, all the way into your brain until you short circuit, and that lasts about 3-4 minutes. It settles in a very creamy way, which is very weird because all of these ingredients, all of these notes, all of these spices are sharp. They are sharp. They're like nails. They're very piercing. You know, they cut through the flesh, through the nose. It settles creamy. That cardamom, maybe. That sandalwood, maybe. It becomes round, sweet, and creamy. Almost like a very, very tannic tea with milk in it. Also, that honey that they list is not entirely honey-ish. It's more like waxy, a little bit oily. In collaboration with the cinnamon, it provides the same kind of menthol effect that you find in, let's say, ambre narguilé every once in a while. The combination of these two notes sometimes, if it's strong enough, comes out camphory and, you know, mentholy. But it also has that idea of milky again, almost like royal jelly, like a squished fuzzy bee, like a bee larva in its waxy home, fed with milky things and nectars and honeyish undertones. That's kind of honey it is. So this has a very slight animalic undertone, which is very interesting for such a spicy, such an aromatic perfume, fragrance. Performance-wise, like I said, the first few minutes are impossible. It's like drilling through your brain with a hot drill. High-powered drill, for that matter. It shrieks. It literally like opens all of your sinuses. Then it follows with the fusing stage, in which you almost can see the ingredients unfolding, because most of them either evaporate or absorb into the skin at different rates. When it radiates, and that takes about close to 4 hours, after which it starts radiating, and it stays, I put it on this side of my hand yesterday afternoon. It was still there this morning, so depending on how sensitive your nose is, you might feel it, 24 hours later. I've never put it on clothes. I'm too scared to put it on clothes. I don't know how it evolves. When it comes to performance, I told you about the longevity. Projection is not as grand as you would expect, but it's there. It's very palpable. You can feel it. Sillage is very natural. You don't leave a trail. The trail kind of moves with you in a very organic way. So people in the room can feel you for sure. I've smelled it on both men and women, women less than men, and I've found that on a male skin, maybe it's a acidity thing or something, it actually becomes sweeter on a male skin than on a female skin. I don't know exactly what interacts with what. It can become pungent and a little bit acrid, or extremely bitter, almost like a Swedish bitter, like a Jägermeister kind of, aromatic back end. On men, generally, this adulterates. I so wish some of these words I know do exist in English, and I'm betting everything on Latin. But anyway, you know what I mean. It becomes sweeter on men. It's amazing. I don't know why nobody reviews this. I was trying to search it on YouTube. There's no impression on it. 100% recommended if you like your spices. If you like something that's really geniusly blended. If you like a very subtle, woody, out of this world type of concoction that doesn't really read like a perfume or anything else you can think of, give this a chance. It is Mark Buxton. It is avant-garde. It is new for those days and for these days as well. It's still conceptual. It's still out there. It's still eccentric. It's still a very, very interesting statement, particularly considering the trends we're dealing with nowadays. So, if you like this type of presentation, if you want to find out more about obscure or long forgotten or underrated or, you know, just flying under the radar gems in perfumery, you know what you gotta do. Hit subscribe, hit like, leave me with your comments, and I will see you next time. Bye.